Good morning, sir. The project title is Multipurpose Air Handler. And here are the researchers: Pina Christian, Dumaging Maynard E.G., Gagnan Sigrid, Hapos Nino, and Meneses John Michael. First, we discuss the background and rationale. The researcher's type of air handler is a modified one, which means it is not the same as other air handlers that are only capable for cooling and for heating. The researcher's air handler is capable of cooling and heating, but has an air purifier or UV light installed, which means it can kill the bacteria and viruses that passes through your room. And this type of air handler can also help to prevent the transmission of viruses, especially in these times of pandemic that we need to secure our health first against the COVID symptoms. Then the reason why the researchers choose this study is because it will help to those people working on establishments that have air handlers, and we know that the air handlers deliver air that allows bacteria and viruses to be carried throughout the room. And the researchers also want to implement this project in order to gain the people's safety.
Problem statement or statement of the problem. This design emphasizes the multi-purpose air handler is capable for heating, cooling, and purifying the indoor air. For the development of this design, the researchers addressed the following questions. First, what design parameters should the researchers consider to develop a multi-purpose air handler? What development and implementation strategy should the researchers adopt to be utilized to ensure that the multi-purpose air handler will work? Third, what evaluation parameters should the researchers assess in order to measure the performance and acceptability of the multi-purpose air handler? To sum up all of that, let's go to the objectives of the study. The aim of this study is to produce multi-purpose air handler capable of cooling the room to the required temperature and minimizing the spread of virus and bacteria. Here are the specific objectives of the study. To connect that with the first slide, let's go with the first one. To design a more usable and effective air handling unit. We may say usable, it should be convenient for our customers or the people who will use it and in a very effective way. Second, to develop a multi-purpose air handler with the necessary materials to reduce the spread of bacteria and viruses. For example, we will use some of the raw materials that are required in order to create or to have our output of the given product. And for the third one, we also going to evaluate its multi-purpose air handler in terms of its capability, safety, and quality. Thank you.
The next slide is conceptual framework. In input category, the researchers put the baseline research because it needs to gather more ideas regarding the air handler. The researchers also include the materials, and it's also very important to have a good and capable material so that the air handler will function properly. This system of an air handling unit also requires basic calculations, principles, and theories, because the researchers might calculate the supply voltage or the total amperage. In process category, the researchers put system design, the development or prototyping, and implementation. In terms of implementation, the researchers want to implement multi-purpose air handler, especially these pandemic times because it might help to minimize the spread of bacteria and viruses. All these processes result the output, which is the multi-purpose air handler.
The next slide is review of related literature. Ultraviolet germicidal irradiation, or also known as UVGI, for induct airborne bioaerosol disinfection. Review and analysis of design factor. Since COVID arises, effective engineering control is required in improving indoor quality. UVGI focuses on air purification technology in HVAC ducts. Its objective is to identify critical parameters in designing UVGI system. characterization of lamp output, behavior of target microbial, UV dose response, evaluation of inactivation performance, and energy consumption. Ultraviolet, ultraviolet germicidal coil cleaning, abstract cooling coil surfaces. It is ideal site for biofilm formation due to adequate nutrients and moisture that adverse impact on heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Energy usage and performance. HVAC test apparatus help to look into the ultraviolet germicidal coil cleaning, improve heat transfer effectiveness. Air bio contamination control in hospital environment by UVC rays and HEPA filters in HVAC system. In the air conditioning apparatus, UVC lamps are located inside the air ducts. Thus, in evaluating the effectiveness of UVC lamps, its purpose is to build an HOC experimental air conditioning system and HEPA filters and UVC lamps. Integration of photocatalytic multi-tube reactor for indoor air purification in HVAC system. An in-depth experimental characterization of multi-tube reactor for indoor air purification integrated with ventilation system where glass tubes used as photocatalyst substrates to meet the requirements of the operating condition.
Next is the conceptual design. These are the parts of air handling unit: outside air, filter, return air, heating coil, cooling coil, fan, plenum, UVC valves, supply air. AHU is supply fresh air to the room. The unit takes air from the outside, filter it and recondition it, cooled by a cooling coil or heated by a heating coil, passing by to the fan and refiltered again by UVC valves before it enters the room. Where hygienic needs for air quality are lower, the air from the rooms can be recirculated by the return air for energy-saving purposes. The AHU is usually fitted with a cooling heat exchanger for increasing capacity and energy saving. To sum up all, the basic function of AHU is take in outside air, recondition it, and supply it as a fresh air to a building.
And what makes a prototype of this multipurpose air handler is the UVC bulbs or the UV lights itself. Because before the air enters the room, it allows the UV light to disinfect the air in the plenum. And we know that the air can also carry bacteria or viruses from the outside or the return air. So UV light is a very important in the air handler so that it can purify the air in the room. And this is all our report, sir. Thank you.